Engine 1 from car 1. Car 1's on scene at Subin Command. Give me a CAN report.
What's going on, everybody? This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the CAN Report. Mazel tov, everybody. I have two amazing guests with me today. I have Jay Fulmer and Gino Galli. All right. They are the ambassadors of the craft. We have a great program this evening, and they're going to be delivering a lot of knowledge, a lot of information about themselves, what they do, and everything about the fire service. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you guys. And if things seem wonky on the other end, everybody, it's because I currently have a huge storm rolling through my neck of the woods. So there's lightning, thunder, and everything to go along with it. So hopefully the power outage does not happen. Gino, Jay, thank you so much for being on the CAN Report.
No, Mike, thank you very much. We're honored and humbled that you reached out to have a couple of nobodies from nowhere on your podcast. We're super excited.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. We really appreciate it.
Dude, again, it's an honor. It's an absolute pleasure. When I mean it, when I say that, it's for real. You guys are doing great things in the service, and to have you on this program, again, I'm just a schmuck from nowhere. It really helps a lot. And honestly, us talking, I hope that people from New Hampshire get this knowledge and this education. That's usually my goal, is for people to in New Hampshire, if they're listening to me, again, small town guy from New Hampshire, hearing you guys from your neck of the woods, to understand what you guys are doing and the training that you're bringing out. Hopefully it'll help them to understand where to go for knowledge, and maybe hopefully seek you guys out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We're always willing to hit the road and pass on the knowledge and the passion for the job.
Absolutely. So Jay, I'll let you go in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Again, Jason Fulmer, been in the fire service a total of 29 years. That's volunteer and career experience. Currently a deputy fire chief in charge of operations and training with the French Camp Fire District in Central California. Husband, father of three. This year will be 24 years I've been married.
Congratulations.
My daughter. Oh, thank you. My daughter just finished up her freshman year at GCU, nursing major. My middle son will be turning 17, so we're going to start looking at colleges for him. He's looking to major in biomedical engineering. And then my little guy, he's not so little. He's 15, and he doesn't know what he wants to do yet.
And that's okay.
Probably play golf. Anyways, yeah, so when he was into baseball, I coached baseball, all of his teams. Like to go camping, just hang out with the family. We just finished up a vacation in Idaho. That's why, we're teaching on the tail end of our vacation here in Twin Falls. So it kind of worked out. But yeah, and then after all that, running AOTC, Ambassadors of the Craft. So yeah, that's pretty much me and my life in a nutshell.
Love it, man. That's great. Gino, my man.
Yes, sir.
What you got?
Gino Galli, 16 years in the fire service. I'm currently a captain at the Caldwell Fire Department. Also the Treasure Valley Fools president and the director for the March Mayhem Fire Conference. So kind of a little jack of all trades, a little bit of everything. Been with AOTC now since 2021, 22. Mm-hmm. And then, so I teach with them. We go all over. I got a 5-year-old little daughter, and married for 9 years. And so we call her Mini Mayhem. So every time I do conference stuff, she comes with me and plans it. She actually picked our logo out in 2023. So that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I love it. Keep it in the family. That's great.
Absolutely.
So we'll start it right off, man. Tell me about AOTC. Tell me about Ambassadors of the Craft. How did it start? What's the mission of it?
So we started back in 2016. I was fortunate enough back in probably 2010, 2011 to kind of get thrown into the training realm in California with one of my biggest mentors, Chief Ed Hatfield. He had Firetown training specialists, and their main goal was truck academies, forcible entry, search, vertical ventilation, because I don't know, might be a popular opinion, but I think the West Coast does some of the best roof work in the country as far as vertical ventilation goes. Yeah. So he brought me into his cadre, started out, kind kind of like the grunt. But that kind of got my feet wet into the teaching world. Fell in love with it. And then there wasn't really any more cadres, so to speak, of in California at that time. And then I kind of started working on a hose and nozzle study for my department, because we were in, the 1.5 inch, 100 PSI, selectable gallonage nozzles. And we were looking to go, low pressure hose, low pressure nozzles, that sort of thing. So that's when I really kind of fell in love with engine work. And there wasn't really any cadres out there in California that were specializing in engine work. So kind of just threw together ambassadors of the craft. It was kind of just me. And I called up a real good friend of mine, Matt Doney, Mongo. I was like, hey, let's go around and let's, teach some classes. So literally it was me going to some of the volunteer departments around me on their drill nights, talking to them about their hose and nozzle packages, talking about, nozzle reaction. And then reached out to Jerry Herbst from Elkhart Brass. He took a chance on me, and lo and behold, a couple months later, all these boxes show up at my house. And it was Elkhart shut off, smoothbore tips, combi tips, inline pressure gauges, the whole 9 yards. And so from there, it just kind of took off. So I was able to go, hit the road, go out to these departments and just, do basically, I was doing free training for anybody that would listen to me, anybody that wanted it. I had a good friend of mine who worked up the hill from where I was. He built me my own forcible entry door. It would break down into like 5 pieces, slide into the bed of my truck. So me and Matt, we travel around to different departments in our local area, and we do little forcible entry classes on a Saturday or Sunday for these departments. And we were doing this stuff for free. And then I got lucky enough to go out and teach at Oath Keepers in Ohio for 5 years.
Wow.
That was a great experience teaching out there with those guys. And then things just started to snowball from there with AOTC. I hooked up with this guy. Actually came out to Idaho on vacation to visit my in-laws that live in Caldwell. And what stemmed from that was basically a lifelong friendship with this guy, him and my cadre, and what now is probably one of the largest growing fire conferences in the country. It's March Mayhem.
I've heard a lot about March Mayhem from Griffin.
Yeah.
He loves it. And when I had him on the podcast, he talked a lot about that. And I've seen a lot of feeds from it as well. And I love what you're saying, like how that all came from just loving the job and learning more about it and having those mentors and giving back, like literally teaching for free. I think that's so cool. And that's kind of like the same thing I'm doing. Like all these people I've got to meet and learn from all over the place. And I get to bring it back home and teach and show them what I've learned. And, they either take it or they don't, but it's really cool to be able to bring new techniques, new ideas. And like you said, like, honestly, with with the attack packages, like my department, like, hey, this stuff isn't really working all that great, but maybe we can work on something a little bit better. And I've never really, when I first started, I never was an engine guy. I didn't know what I was. I know I wasn't an engine guy because I hated moving hose. But as I started learning, like, I started like understanding like nozzle reaction and the pressures of this and, making our job easier and our lives easier. And then I realized, oh shit, I'm an engine guy. I really like doing engine work. And I love the science and data behind nozzles and hoses and how the right things make our job easier. I love it. So Gino and Jay, you guys work together, ambassadors of the craft, and you provide training. You guys go all over, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, we do. We next year will be our 5th year at March Mayhem. We've done 2 years at MAFC, Metro Atlanta Firefighter Conference. We're down here in Twin Falls right now at the Magic Valley Fools.
We've gone to Montana, Colorado, helped local colleges, conferences.
Yeah, we went down to Colorado Mesa, Grand Junction, Colorado. There's a fire tech academy down there. And we went down there twice and taught for free, taught these college kids in their fire academy.
That's awesome.
yeah, that was a good time down there. So yeah, we're going to Mississippi. I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped about that one. I
I'm
can't
just
wait.
looking at the list of guys that are going to be there. I was, yeah, again, humbled to be in the presence of some of those guys. It's going to be a great time. I've never been to Mississippi. Um, Ole Miss is one of the schools my son's looking at going to, so it's kind of
Oh,
cool.
nice.
So yeah, it's going to be a good time. But
So
yeah, like I said,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, so when when you set up your trainings, what is exactly are you guys doing? Like, are you doing all of it? Are you doing truck work? Are you doing engine work? Are you doing RIT? Is there any specialized areas that you guys are really trying to key into? And what are you bringing? What makes AOTC stand out as one of those training companies that people talk about? Because they do talk about it, and I see you guys doing some great training, some great knowledge coming out. And what kind of separates it from other people? What are you bringing that may be different?
well, first off, I think our training, there's nothing fancy about it. It's dirty, literally dirty, blue collar. It's grunt. It's in the trenches, firemanship. It's what it is. When I first started AOTC, it was literally engine company operations is what it was. Now we're doing engine company stuff, and we're doing truck stuff. So we're doing, on the truck side, we're doing forcible entry, conventional and unconventional. We're doing search with VES. We're doing ladders,
Ventilation.
vertical ventilation. In March Mayhem, we did commercial flat roof vent. We're doing hose management, corner management, flowing and moving. We're working on coupling drops, water mapping.
Flowing upstairs, flowing downstairs.
I love, so you're speaking my language. I love when I get to teach my recruits. I always get selected to do the engine work, the hose work, and I'm always making sure we're hitting on water mapping. We had a training up here in New Hampshire for train the trainer for the water mapping, the ULFSRI class, and I got so much information out of that, and I was so happy that I was able to bring that back to a lot of people, because it's funny, because it's simple, but it's not popular. Like, not a lot of people, when you break it down and you show them these techniques, I love the reaction that they have. They just open up their eyes and go, holy crap. Like, I didn't realize I could do all this with this water. And water mapping is not also just, placing it in corners and watching it spray down, but you're trying to get more with less. Right. And I love that, trying to, conserve our water, given it. But like, for me, I'm in a rural area sometimes. So it might be important that I need to make sure I got my water where I want it, that proper water application. Cause I might not be hooked up to a hydrant yet, because I'm in a district where we don't have hydrants. So not necessarily conserve, but I want to make sure I'm hitting in the right spot and using those places of the structure to my advantage. And that class was really eye-opening for me, and I love the science behind it. I love the data behind it, and it was Jake Barnes who was teaching our class, part of the class, and I mean, he's awesome, right? Like, Jake Barnes, 3-point firefighter. That dude cracks me up, but he delivered the information so well, and I loved that he had that science and that data behind it, and he knew what he was talking about, and he delivered it in a great package for us to bring it back to all of our departments and anybody else who wants to learn from it. And now our academy has a water mapping prop for anybody to use.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, it's there's other cadres out there that are doing similar things that we're doing, but we've been doing this for a long time, and we worked hard to get where we're at. We wouldn't be where we're at if we didn't have some of great sponsors that have helped us get there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we, like I said, we're nothing fancy, man. We're down and dirty. We got Colin hanging out of Connex boxes on the second floor with black smoke over his head, doing baby drops. And, we just try to make it as realistic as possible.
Love it.
I tell, when we're flowing and moving down a 20-foot Connex box. I tell the students all the time, I said, you may never roll a fire in your career where you have to flow and move from threshold to fire room. But if you don't train on it and you don't know how to do it, and God forbid the day comes and you have to, and you've never trained on it, you're not going to be able to do it. You're going to fail.
100%.
So,
Yeah. You want that muscle memory.
yeah, exactly.
Right. And as instructors, it's, for me, at least when I'm teaching, it's like, I always make sure I let them know this is not the Mike Goldstein way. This is not the way. This is just a way that might make your job a little bit easier. Another tool in the toolbox. So if you get in a tight spot, you can go ahead and pull that out of that toolbox and go, yeah, I remember this. And it's not foreign. It's ingrained into your brain, and you can pull that out when you get in a tough spot and keep on moving. And, that way you get yourself out of that jam. Or, again, water mapping, like, crap, I'm not reaching the seat of the fire. It's too hot over there. Oh yeah. I could hit the header of this threshold right here, and I can start banking that down. And now I can go into this room because now it's less hot for me. And I love it. So for you guys as instructors, what have you learned over the years to help really bring the knowledge and the education to them? Because I know, like, for instructors, right, we talk a lot about being instructors, because to me, that's really important. I think that's an honor to be labeled as an instructor. But there's some, that you can have a big head about you and say, you have to listen to me because I've earned my stripes as an instructor. But then you have the ones who are really humble, and you guys are the ones who are really humble. So how did you learn to be that way? Did you learn through bad ways and then turn into a good way? Or did you just always have really good mentors and you just led that to just continued on?
A little bit of both. Is growing up, working for different departments, different size departments. I worked for a large department in Northern California, and they did things one way. And then as soon as I moved to Idaho, things opened my eyes and, like, wait, I could do these a lot differently, because, we're not a big city. We don't have 8 engines, 2 trucks, and a medic unit right on the first arrival assignment. Now instead we have 3 engines and a BC, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And so learning and kind of doing a little bit of everything is kind of humbled you to, okay, you got to know your job a little bit better first, not relying on everybody else to do it for you.
So you learned kind of about from being kind of short-staffed in a way, like
Yeah,
you don't have the numbers to hide behind.
Yeah,
because there's definitely a lot of people that I see when we go to trainings, they're very unsure of themselves and they hide behind those numbers. And especially in bigger departments, you have people that will tend to hide behind other people because they just don't want to fail. Mm-hmm. So when you see those type of people in your trainings, because we all see them, how do you get them to be comfortable? How do you get the people that are unsure of their skills or unsure of doing those techniques? You could tell in their eyes they're afraid to fail or just try because it looks difficult. How do you make people feel comfortable in these trainings?
Well, we use kind of like the crawl, walk, run method. And we always tell our students that we will stay, just because it says, day 1, we're going to end at 5:00. We'll stay on the drill grounds till the last person wants to go home. And we have enough guys on our cadre on both sides, the engine and the truck side, that we'll always pull students aside and we'll work with them one-on-one. And we never want to single anybody out, but we all we've seen it, like you said, someone that's struggling or whatever. So we'll always make a point to, go talk with them, just, kind of ask them, what's going on. And most of the time what it is they've never flown, and moved before. They can't get the body mechanics down. So, maybe we'll switch it up a little bit. We'll show them a different method to get started with, and we'll work them through that method until they get a little more comfortable. Okay, now let's move into maybe the single knee walk, okay, or the double knee. We can tailor our training to just about any skill level that's out there. Mm-hmm. We don't cater to the professional firefighter. Like I said, we can tailor our training to anybody that's out there. And to tag on to what Gino was talking about too, I come from a very short staff department too. I'm not getting 4 engines and a truck on a first alarm assignment. So my engineer doesn't have the luxury of just standing at the panel pulling levers.
Yeah.
charging the line, getting a water supply. He's throwing ladders. He's getting tools to the door. He's a working engineer. So that's, kind of where a lot of our teaching comes from. I think a lot of us in our cadre come from, those shorter staff departments. So we have that life experience. So that just translates right into our teaching techniques and what we're teaching in our classes.
I love it. That's great. Now, where did you learn the techniques? Is it just through various conferences, various training events? Because everybody has something different where they pick up. Was those techniques, did you seek those out, or did you just happen to go over the years acquiring this knowledge and then eventually going, you know what, let's bring this back to other people?
I think a little bit of both for me. And honestly, I think as an instructor, you still have to go out and take classes. Just because you're an instructor doesn't mean that gives you the right to stop taking classes and stop seeking information.
Yeah.
Every time we teach a class, it seems like I learn something. And that's one thing I love, is it seems like, I pick up something from the students every time I teach somewhere. And I love that about being an instructor.
Amen, brother. I love that, dude. Like you're singing the same song that I am. I absolutely love that because I learn so much when I get to teach. And I always say teaching is learning, and I'm learning so much from those. It's from everybody, and honestly, it's pretty cool because I've learned stuff from students though, where they say, "How come? Let's try it this way." Oh shit, I never thought about it that way. All right, let's do it that way, and it works. And it's so cool when you open up your mind to your students as well. And again, from when I was coming into it, like you had certain people like, nope, this is my way, and you can't give me any other. You can't ask why, and you can't give me any advice. You are the student, I am the master, and that is it. So
it's that kind of mentality that's going to kill the fire service too.
Right. But honestly, like I'll ask you this: do you think it's gotten better? I think it has.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Yeah, I mean, just the resurgence of just the conferences across the country is it's a breath of fresh air. I mean, there for years, besides like the big conferences, I'm not going to name them, but there really wasn't much out there. And now you got these grassroots conferences popping up. It's awesome to see. I mean, it's a breath of fresh air.
Oh, it really is. We just finished up in my neck of the woods. We just did a conference for the first time, and we didn't have big numbers, but you know what? The people that were there, it really mattered to them, and it was something special. And it was a rejuvenation of that area that used to be former training grounds for people in the Southwest of New Hampshire. And now it was brought back, but it was super cool just to see people wanting to get that education. They're like, yes, this is finally it. I can go someplace and get some outside education. It doesn't have to be the check the box kind of knowledge. And it's cool to see, like you said, the resurgence of these grassroots, like Mississippi, like those guys, Old South Fools, are bringing it back. They know that they have the need for outside education. And that's why they're doing it. It's not glamour. It's not just like, hey, I want to bring big name people in and make as much money as we can. I want to bring people in that care about other people, that care about the craft, and that can give us solid education that we can bring it back to our departments and use it in real life experiences. And you guys, again, do that all the time. I've been following you for a long time. And that's why I wanted you on here is I love the message that you bring, and I watch what you guys do, and you guys are right there with everybody, putting on your gear, doing work with them, and making sure that they're getting those skills in.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that, Mike. It's like, in our cadre, it's like if we expect our students to be in a certain level of gear, then our instructors are going to be in that level of gear.
Absolutely.
I know, unfortunately, myself and Gino weren't able to make MAPC this year. So props to our brothers that carried on the AOTC down there. I know it was hot. I know it was humid. But our guys know if the students are in turnout coat, turnout pants, and a pack or whatever, then we expect our guys to be the same thing. Because how are we supposed to know how the students are feeling? And we're like, why are these guys falling out? Well, it's because it's 90 degrees with 90% humidity, and they're in full gear, and we're kicking it in a pair of Carhartt pants and a pair of work boots. That's why they're falling out.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because how are you actually be able to get that sweat equity, and how are you supposed to actually understand how they're feeling in that environment? If, again, you said like we're kicking around the most lightest of clothes, and here they are in almost 100-degree weather with that humidity, and they're sweating their ass off putting in the work. And you're like, why are you guys tired? Like, I'm not sweating yet. Because, man, I've been, again, when I was coming up in the service and we were doing trainings, and my officers, they weren't geared up. I'm working my ass off because they either holding a captain rank or a deputy chief rank. They would just stand there and watch us work. And where's the buy-in? Like I'm literally watching as I'm doing these things. I'm thinking to myself the whole time, that guy sucks. I want to see him work. He's seen me work. I want to see him work. And that's that buy-in that, that if you expect me to work hard for you, I want you to work hard for me. And that's literally, as a line guy, I want to know that my officer is capable of working, or that I also want to know as a student that my instructor isn't full of shit. Because you've got an instructor that's 400 bills and can't fit into gear, it can't even put on a pack. How am I supposed to really listen to this guy who literally can't crawl on his knees, or he can't go up a ladder because he's gonna be out of breath? Like, as instructors, we owe it to our students to be in our PPE. We owe it to them to be in shape and be able to do these tasks that we're asking them to do.
100%.
So do you ever guys find yourselves at some events where you might be intertwined with other instructors and they might be teaching something like really, like, it's not right, like something's going on, like, hey, this needs to be tweaked? Do you ever have those situations where you might have to step in? And it's kind of hard because we're all alpha males. We all got these big personalities, and everybody wants to be the best of the best. But sometimes, there might be a situation where, especially on bigger events, where somebody maybe is not giving the good directions or the good knowledge, or they might not even be there for the mission. Have you ever come across anybody with kind of like ego-driven mentality on those instructor or conferences?
Hosting the conference, I have, unfortunately. It's part of the game. There's guys out there who do it for the money, and there's people out there who do it for the passion, for spreading the good word to everybody and having a good time. At the end of the day, when we get surveys, hey, how is this class? What class do you take? And it all comes back, and if it's unanimous, then we all know. All right, then that ego was definitely higher than the knowledge. So I've seen it the last couple of years. I'll see it some more in the future. Every year I'll see it at least once, unfortunately.
Now you just mentioned that feedback forms. You guys do that with every conference or every event that you guys have? Do you have a form or an email that you send out to all your students?
So you do for
we've got it for we've got one created for AOTC now, like basically a evaluation form for classes. They run them. I know MAPC runs an evaluation form. March Mayhem runs an evaluation form. I think it's good.
That's great. Yeah.
I mean, feedback is good, whether it's praise or criticism. We need it all. So because if we're not doing something right and no one's telling us otherwise, then how are we going to make ourselves better?
100%. I love it. And I really do appreciate when I go to a training and they have those feedback forms. I always think that means that they actually care about the content that they're giving to us. Because, man, we're paying $350 to go to a conference. I want that money to work for me. And I expect my instructors, I expect the people who are presenting that material to work for me. I mean, I'm paying a good amount of money and I'm spending some time. And the guys that actually care about it want to know what we're thinking of them and thinking of the content. And always, tailoring it and catering it and making sure that you're editing your material or making it even better. I think that's, and again, I love that it's happening more. Like you said, we're going in the right direction with all these events that we have going on. And it shows, again, for people that actually care about, like you guys, those feedback forms and listening and putting on your gear and working with those guys and being patient, it pays dividends. So now you have the conference you're at now in Idaho. And you said you're at your tail end of it right now?
It starts tomorrow. Yeah, it's a 2-day. It's through the Magic Valley Fools is putting it on. Roughly 30 to 35 students in the class. They sold it out. It's basically our fundamentals of the first due class. So it'll be engine work and truck work. Day one is skill work. So we'll split them in half. So they'll do forcible entry, search, VES, and then they'll do water mapping, flowing and moving, corner management. We'll work on some coupling drop stuff. And then after lunch, they'll switch. So everyone gets engine, everyone gets truck. So it's basically all just skill stations tomorrow. Then on Sunday, it's live fire day. So we're burning all day, and they'll basically incorporate everything they learned tomorrow into live fire day on Sunday.
That's fantastic, man. For people who are listening, or maybe some people who are new in this job and not familiar, elaborate more on the corner work and coupling drops.
So I'll talk about corners. I'll let Gino talk about coupling drops. So corner management, our thing is, go right to go left. People are going to say, well, that sounds stupid. So if you're pushing down a hallway and you're going to make a right-hand turn, you don't just want to set up on that right-hand wall and try to turn right. You're going to create a huge pinch point. So, we teach our students, as soon as you know which way you're going to have to go, right or left, nozzleman calls it out, right turn. Then the nozzle and the heel man need to start setting up as far to the left as they can to make that hard sweeping right turn, to keep that, to get rid of that pinch point.
Mm-hmm.
And then that heel man gets up in the corner. We teach a catcher squat position, bottle in the corner, hose across the thighs.
I love it.
And it's I call it the double Dutch rudder.
You're like driving the truck,
driving the bus, baby.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I freaking love you guys. I love that you guys say, because that conference I was just at, they were teaching, and I was teaching hose advancement, and I was literally doing just that. I'm teaching them and putting the pack into the wall, into the corner, get that over your thighs, and just literally steer the bus. And it's amazing that you just said that. It makes me feel good that I kind of know something, because I've seen a thing or two. So that's great, man. What great knowledge.
We'd also talk about T hallways, loading the hallway behind you or loading the room behind you, mm-hmm. To set yourselves up for success, for pushing forward. So that's kind of what we talk about. And when we're talking about corner management, is just setting yourself up for success, to make the push, to make the fire ring.
I love it. What are your thoughts on, we were talking about the backup guy, the heel man? People have taught two different methods, right? You have some that love to be right up the butt, and others that I like to be farther back, to give them that space and to provide that working of those kinks. From you shaking your head, you're definitely the latter.
Yeah.
But there's still people out there that still teach of like getting right up on that nozzle guy.
My personal opinion is, if you have to be right up on your nozzleman, they're one of two things. Either one, you didn't train them correctly, or two, you don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
So I like my heel man 10 to 12 feet behind me. I was never in the military. I have the utmost respect for our men and women in our military. But so when the military is clearing streets, they're not all facing forward, marching down the street, right? You've got one guy looking forward and one guy looking backwards, right? Otherwise, you're going to get shot in the freaking back. So I want my heel man 10 to 12 feet behind me. He's my eyes behind me. I'm eyes in front. Now, if I'm the heel man as an officer, let's say, and for some reason I need to communicate with my nozzleman, then I can just scoot right up my line, say what I got to say, or do whatever, and scoot right back. But yeah, I'm a guy where I want my heel man 10 to 12 feet behind me. They can be in the hallway. They can be loading the room a little bit if they need to. There's no need for that nozzle person to be right up on me. Now, unless we're making a push with a 2.5 and we're flowing and moving the 2.5, then, of course, heel man come right up behind the nozzle person to be that motor and give that nozzleman a push. But other than that, get that heel man 10 to 12 feet behind me. Buffer. Yeah.
Love it, dude. That is fantastic. Do you also teach with your hose work, victim removal if the hose team comes across a victim, how to get them out? That's great.
You find one, you find two.
Yeah. I love that, man, because we've been doing it. People have been teaching that more, and I love seeing that more because, again, as you and I, as all three of us know, it hasn't been taught way back in the day. It's literally just, even as like, I honestly, when I talk about RIT, I know we're supposed to go in and we're bringing those firefighters out, but I like to make sure that we hit on the pond that if I come across a body or if I come across somebody who's viable, I'm still pulling them out. I'm going to go in, but I'm going to take them to a room that's safe for them, close the door, let command know, hey, I just took a civilian into another room and I'm going to continue on to my mission. The same thing as a hose team. Like if we come across a person, I know we got to put the fire out, but I'm also going to bring that victim to a place of safety and make sure I continue on with that. And I love that we're teaching more of that because, again, it wasn't really hit on way back in the day.
So what we teach is we'll throw scenarios in with our students, but we go over that with them before we throw them to the wolves. Is we teach nozzleman comes across a victim, it's victim. They make their way over the victim, keeping water downstream, so they're putting water between the victim and the fire. Heel man comes up, searches around the victim, like Gino said, you find one, you find two. Heel man starts to make the rescue. Hopefully by that time a second team's coming in, they can take over the rescue. Heel man bumps back in, and fire attack gets back to work.
I love
otherwise, the nozzleman just sits right there, keeps holds ground, putting bullets down range, putting water down range.
Dude, I love it. That's fantastic. Now, Gino, tell me about the coupling drop.
So it's just another tool from the toolbox. We all know second, third, fourth floor stretches. We could stretch a hose. We could do the old IFSTA manual, throw a rope down, tie it, pull it up. This one's just another option. You could just grab a bundle, grab a 50-foot section, 100-foot section, put it on your shoulder, break it off. So you have 50 or 100 feet on your shoulder. You bring it up to the whatever floor you want, second, third, fourth, fifth. Put it on the landing down there. You grab the coupling. You throw it over, have your driver or another firefighter make the connection. You can either do a 2.5 to basically a horizontal standpipe, or you can stretch all 1.75 inch, 1.5, whatever you use. And then you can just stretch out on the landing right then and there. You can do a Cleveland roll. You can stretch up the stairs. But that way you're not doing the switchbacks on the stairs. You have a direct line of sight from basically the floor, the bottom floor straight to the fire floor.
Oh, that's great, man. Now, you just talked about Cleveland. Do you prefer the Cleveland or do you prefer a different method?
Certain situations, Cleveland is awesome. I like when I do the Cleveland, I lean it against the wall railing up away from the door, so that way I can still have access to the door, control it, or if I need to advance it out of the way, I can. And that way, truck company or additional engine company come up and still have a pathway, not tripping over all the hose on the floor.
I love it. Now, when you guys are teaching hose operations and all those techniques, are you doing it off of a Minuteman load? Are you doing triple layer loads? Are you teaching different kinds of deployments?
Yeah. So if we do a hose deployment station, we'll kind of see what the class runs. And the majority of the time, it's either going to be a modified Minuteman or a straight Minuteman. Every once in a while, we'll run across the dreaded triple fold. I mean, it's great.
They're still out there.
It's great if you have unobstructed 66 feet from your engine to the front door, but that's not the world I live in. That's not my first due. We run a modified Minuteman, 200-foot cross lays, and then static beds off the back. So we kind of poll the students to see what they run. And then we ask them, so if they're running a Minuteman, be like, hey, would you guys like to see the modified Minuteman? Like, yeah, sure, we'll check it out. So we'll load it up in a pull box or in an engine, and we'll show them that. 2 years ago in MAFC, Gino, his group, he showed them the load they use in Coldwell, and the students loved it. Now, are they going to be able to take that back? Is a firefighter that goes to MAFC going to be able to go back to his department and be like, hey guys, listen, we're going to change our hose loads? Probably not. But like you said, it's something different. And who knows, maybe someday that guy is division chief and he's like, hey, I want you guys to check out this hose load. So, but yeah, we kind of poll the students, and like I said, the majority of the time it's either going to be Minuteman or modified Minuteman.
A lot of times, some departments, they have 2, 3, 4, 500-foot hose loads, for their deployments. In Caldwell, our cross lays are 150 feet. So we have
Mm.
short setbacks, small houses, so we don't need a lot of hose for ours. We have to manage all of our hose right 20 feet from the engine. So that's why it's just another tool for the toolbox, showing them kind of, hey, you may have a massive driveway where you fit 3 RVs in it. I could barely fit a Mini Cooper in some of our front yards.
So when you're teaching the modified, there's so many different methods out there, and there's so many terms to the modified and the Minuteman. So in your description, what is the modified Minuteman to you? What are you teaching them?
So our modified Minuteman is basically, it's a 200-foot flat load. Your first loop will be your dump loop. That's at 50 feet. And then you'll have 2 more loops at basically you'll shoulder that, you'll invert that. That'll give you 100 feet on your shoulder. So you're shouldering 100 feet. You'll turn around, you'll grab your dump loop and stretch out. So that's what we're teaching as our modified Minuteman.
So the nozzle's on top, and you're inverting that onto your shoulder?
Yeah, nozzle's on top. Then once you invert it, now it's against your chest. Yeah. So,
yep.
And then the nice thing about that is if you need a bundle, you can turn around. The nozzleman himself can turn around and break it. Now you got a 100-foot bundle on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Now you can take that up to use as a coupling drop if you wanted to.
I love it. And then you said you talk about static loads off the rear.
Yeah. So our new engines, we're running a 450-foot static line off the rear. Basically gives the firefighter an option. We've got some new style apartment complexes where the front doors face each other and the garages are off of an alley, so the garages face each other. So basically, the truck will more than likely take the alleyway, the garage side, and the engine will have to stretch down the sidewalk. And the main roads are on each end. So you might have to stretch 250 to get to the front door. Now there are 3 stories. So we implemented a static load off the back that just gives our firemen an option.
Yeah.
So we run 2 200-foot cross lays. One has a 7/8 smoothbore. The other one has a 160 at 50 combi that's slugged with that slugged 7/8. So both of those lines are pumped exactly the same, made it real easy for our engineers. And then we have a 200-foot blitz line off the rear, which is a 200-foot 2.5 with the 1.8 smoothbore. We have a 500-foot 2.5-inch bulk bed with a bell reducer, which we use for coupling drop. Or we can spin the bell reducer and we use it for our ram.
Oh, okay.
Our ram. Then, of course, we carry the dreaded 5-inch. And then we have our bulk bed of 1.75 inch. And then we also have a pre-connected 300-foot 1.75 inch.
Wow.
So we are very hose heavy on our new engines. I'll send you a video, Mike. They have an airbag. You dump a switch. The back end drops 8 inches. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but Jeff, please, I would love to see that video. Absolutely. So Gino mentioned that you have a certain hose load on your department, and what is you have a certain different style?
Yep. So we have 150-foot cross lays with 7/8 tips on them, and then we have we have front bumper. We have 150 feet with a fixed flow fog nozzle on it with pistol grip on it, unfortunately. But it's good for car fires and stuff. Then we also have off the rear, we have a pre-attached 250 feet, 2.5 modified Minuteman. And then we have a dead load of the same thing. And then 5-inch.
Nice. Now I'm going to go right back to your bumper load. You have 150 feet. How do you load that?
Double donut. And so we attach 2 sections of it. So 100 feet with the nozzle. So for a quick attack, and if you want to extend, you can grab another roll and extend off of it as well.
I love that you have 150 feet on there. It seems to be like a standard that a lot of people just do 100 feet and call it good. Now, would you use a 150-foot bumper to go into a residential structure fire? Room and contents, going.
Yes, and I have.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah, it just depends on how we parked. If it's dead end alley, like I couldn't get good access from the crosslays. Front bumper was where I went, and yeah, I went interior multiple times with that load, and it worked just fine.
I love it because why not? It's there.
It's the same. It's almost the same hose. We have was it
Yeah.
Big 10 on the front bumper, so we have Big 10 on the front bumper, True ID on the crosslays, but still gets me the same GPMs and gets after it. So
Absolutely. I love it. The great setups. I love the education because we're currently going through that with my department. We're talking about different hose loads and how things can be beneficial. I've been preaching trying to get rid of the pistol grips. I'm not, for everyone out there, I'm not completely anti pistol grip. Like if I have one, I'm not going to bash it and say I can't use this nozzle. But I think it's funny when, again, we talk about teaching, right? When we teach about proper hose work, what is the first thing we tell them to do? Take your hand off the pistol grip, right? Because you can't get your whip. You're going to tire out your arm, all the things that we talk about. So we always tell them not to use the pistol grip, but yet we keep it on there. And then when I ask, why do we keep it? I get a lot of answers from a lot of people of, well, I like to have it over my shoulder when I'm going upstairs, or I like to put it into drywall to hold it there. Have you heard any other kind of reasons? Like, it's just so odd to me that we teach these great nozzle and hose advancement courses within our departments or training events, but yet we still have that tool on the nozzle, and even though we tell them not to use it.
Yeah, we have some captains who rely on that and say that's how they're going to hold the hose, and that's just how they were taught back in the day. So there's still some other firefighters out there who rely on that to hold their hose because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
And no matter how much you teach them, hey, that probably should hold it a little differently. Nope, this is how I learned. This is how I'm going to keep doing it, unfortunately.
So we teach in the hose management portion of our classes, all of our instructors, we teach our students, we orientate our bail to the left. So even if you do have a pistol grip and your department will not get rid of them, if you orientate your bail to the left or the right, but we orientate bail to the left, that takes the pistol grip out of the equation. So unless you want to hold your nozzle like a Glock in Compton, then it takes the pistol grip out of the equation. So yeah, we always teach orientate the bail to the left. It makes it a smoother transition from the line to the bail and the bail back to the line. And like I said, if you have a pistol grip, it takes it out of the equation. You can't use it by that method.
Yeah. It's funny to this day, though, it's still a big topic. Like people get into some serious arguments about pistol grip or no pistol grip. And I think it's so funny in today's world of science and data and everything is out there. That's still something that guys will friggin' die in their sword for is the beloved pistol grip.
Well, I think honestly, for years, Mike, going back 20 years, if you didn't want a pistol grip, I think it was an option. I think every fire nozzle came with a pistol grip. So that's just what everyone was used to. If you didn't want a pistol grip, that's an option. You can, but I think if manufacturers made a pistol grip an option, it might be a little different. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's like smoothbore versus fog, or now versus hen or versus blade or whatever. It's gonna be the same exact thing. It's personal choice, right? It's everyone's like, well, this is what I like because this is what I was told that works best. It's once you get your hands on and actually flow it and feel it, then you'll be able to pick like, all right, this is my weapon for battle. This is what I want to go interior with.
Shameless plug. I mean, 7/8 tip is America's tip. I mean,
yeah, man. I'm not gonna argue on that one for sure. You in your bio, we didn't touch, and I want to make sure we touch on before we leave. Also, you guys have talked about the Chief Ed Fulmer Memorial Scholarship Fund. What is that?
I'll let Gino. I'll probably get choked up, so I'll let Gino talk.
Okay, sure.
He can chime in. So for March Mayhem, we do a raffle every year. We have a lot of raffle prizes and stuff to raise money. And a couple years ago, right before our conference, unfortunately, Ed passed away, and he was a supporter of us. And to honor him the right way, we wanted to do a fundraiser to where we could give back to students and give a conference pass to somebody to come actually take a class. Doesn't have to be our class. Just go to attend a conference to get better training. And so we started getting more raffle prizes. We started getting more buy-in. Last year we auctioned off, or this year we auctioned off a leather helmet that I donated from. It's a 50-year-old leather helmet that we sold quite a bit. We had a custom Elkhart nozzle with our conference logo on it. Great. I bought it. So,
Wow.
but it was for a good cause, right?
Yeah.
And so we're doing that to honor him, to give back to the fire service.
Tell me who he is.
That's my dad.
And tell me, I don't want to get you choked up, and I'm trying not to put you on the spot, but tell me who he is.
Yeah.
I know he's your dad, but
No, I was born and raised in Ohio, Springfield, Ohio area. He was a firefighter and a fire chief for 25 years. Died of lung cancer. So.
Damn. That sucks.
It seems like he currently wears his helmet now as he's chief, which is pretty awesome.
That is amazing. Way to honor his memory. And it seems like he really taught you a lot. It seems he was really important to you in your life and kind of made you who you are today, I would take it.
100%.
Yeah. That's amazing. It's not, honestly, it's not every day that people can have that in their lives. There's a lot of people that don't have those father figures and those people that they can look up to and lead them down a path of righteousness in the fire service. They have to find it on their own. They don't get those skills taught by their fathers. And so far, I can't remember now the numbers, but I'm going to go off the top of my head. I think you're the second person. Ash Shapiro talked about his dad in great detail. You can definitely tell that he has a lot of pride for his father, and his father taught him a lot about life and about the fire service. He grew up with it. Tim Griswold was another one he grew up with from New Hampshire. His father, same thing. And then you, I could tell he's really special to you, and it's something to really enjoy, to listen to. I love that generational fire culture, and it's really cool that you're giving back in his name and in his honor.
Yeah, our logo pays a little homage to him too. His initials are on the helmet shield, so he's living on the logo too. So
wow. Now, when did you start that fund?
We started that. So our first year for March Mayhem was 2022. 2022. So we started doing that in 2023.
Okay. And
the first year we did it, one of our local firefighters, his daughter actually had cancer. Oh. And so we raised money for that family. She's 100% remission now. She's doing healthy, fantastic, smiling, having a good time. But it was good to pay back to our local family as well.
Wow. That's awesome, guys. Giving it back and with such meaning behind it. That's what really matters too, is just giving back to other people who need it. I love that you're giving, especially what a way to honor your dad though, man. Like you're raising money for guys to actually get solid education from these events. And the fact that you're even saying like, it doesn't have to be our stuff. We just want you to go out and get that training. That means a lot. Cause I tell you, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I never went to an outside training. And being able to reach out to people also, like, it's really important that with these, like you said, these grassroots conferences where a student or someone who's interested can reach out to those people and say, I don't know if I can afford it. I can get a plane ticket, but I don't know if I can afford the registration. And it's really cool that, hey, we're going to help you out, or we have a scholarship program. So we're going to get this settled for you. And for me, like when I reached out to Shane Bentley for Bears of the Oath, I flat out told him, like, I want to go, but I can't afford it. The plane ticket, the hotel, registration fee, I just can't swing it. And his motto is we never say no. So don't worry about that. We got you covered. Just show up. And man, that meant a lot to me. That was, because again, the big conferences, I understand they got a lot of people they got to pay for. They got a lot of things going on, but the grassroots one, that means a lot when you have people like you who say, yep, don't worry about that. Just bring your gear, bring your A game, and let's get some education.
Yeah, that's what we do at Mayhem. We bring a positive attitude, have a good time. And if you can't afford it, we'll find a way to make sure you get there no matter what. And I've done that the last couple of years. I'd rather have people get good training than me make money. I don't make money every year. Everyone thinks, oh, man, this is a huge conference. You make tons of money. I barely break even. I'm just here. I just want to make sure everyone has a good time.
So why did you develop Mayhem?
I would go out and travel every year for conferences, and our region of Idaho near Boise is one of the fastest growing regions in the nation. There's about four or five different cities in the top 20 fastest growing cities. So we have a lot of firefighters. We have a lot of growth. A lot of people probably know Brothers of Battle. A third of their cadre works for Eagle and Boise and Meridian Fire. So we have great firemen here. And so I wanted to showcase what we have here and showcase the whole valley that, hey, we have a lot of great departments and we're growing. We're going to be hiring quite a bit. So our first year in 2022, Jason and I came up with the 3-day conference. We had 45 people attend for 3 days. And then we made one cool video. And then next thing I know, I had a whole media team. And the next year it grew, and then it grew because everyone's like, man, I had a good time. I'm going to tell my coworkers and stuff, to where now this year we had almost 500 people, Canada, 16 states attend.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you swing that? Like, how do you do that?
That's my wife. That's why I'm bald right now. Yeah. I have gray hair on parts and bald on the other parts. That's my wife. But, yeah, it's a lot of work, and, I wish I had more help, but I want to make sure everyone is having a good time at this conference like I would at any other conference. So during lecture, I try to offer, beverages. So that way guys could sit, have a beer, talk fireman stuff, get fired up. We had pint glasses this year.
Look at that. Those are cool.
So yeah, we try to have a good time. I want everyone to feel welcome, right? I don't care what patch you have on your sleeve. I don't care what department you work for. It could be a volunteer department that runs 10 calls a year. It could be a big city department that runs, 500,000 calls a year. I don't care. We're here to have a good time, to learn, and just share firemanship. And that's all it's about.
I love that, man. That is fantastic. 500 people, dude. Like, I'm right in the midst of getting ready for our Explorer Academy, which is 55 kids, and then we have like 50 adults to help with as instructors and support staff and everything else. And man, I'm bald as well. I want to pull my hair out. I might have to start pulling on my mustache, but I can't imagine something on that level.
Try 500 with like 5 people helping.
Yeah, that's insane, dude.
Like, there's other great conferences, Pacific Northwest. They have a army of like 70 dudes helping.
Wow.
And I try to get help, and the only people that are willing to help are from out of the region. So I can't, I can use you day of, but that's about it. Like, I need prep stuff beforehand. I need, site prep. I need, we have 3 different training facilities. My department's 100% bought in. They support me 100%. Our new training chief wants to start building new props to hopefully we get some in by next year to where we have more classes held in Caldwell, and we want to be a training city. And we're just trying to showcase, like, we're going to be hiring quite a bit of people in the next couple of years at our department. We're an aggressive young department who fight a lot of fire. And so we want to showcase that when we host trainings like this.
That's great. What a great recruitment idea.
Yeah.
You can't get more recruitment savvy with something like that, right? Like, you're holding this big conference in your own community and like, oh, by the way, yeah, we're hiring. So also, it'd be cool. Like, you have a booth over there with applications. Say, okay, after you're done pushing hose, come over and sit at the table and we'll give you an interview at the same time. Like,
yeah. All of our chiefs came out last year and checked it out and stuff. And we had a lot of people during class. Hey, are you guys gonna be hiring? Well, at the time we weren't, but now we are. So, we try to spread the word as much as can. Nampa Fire started hosting us their first year because they have a great tower. Their recruitment numbers have gone up. Middleton Starfire just started helping host. Their recruitment numbers have gone up.
Wow.
So it's not just for us to, flaunt our stuff on how cool we are. It's to help recruitment, right? It's our cost of living right now in Idaho has gone up tremendously. I've been there 7 years and it's gone up almost doubled than when I first moved out there. So the cost of living, people can't really afford it. Interest rates are high, house rates are high. But if you're showing, what's behind it, we have a great department. We have, great benefits as well. And so we're trying to showcase, hey, we have a training facility in our training community, our training chief who's 100% bought in, and our new fire chief and our new ops chief who are 100% for them. And it's awesome. Can't ask for anything better.
No, man, that's great. What a great idea. I love that you got everybody back in that mission though, from your training division all the way to the chief. I mean, you can't get more bought in than that. And that's what a great mission. And hopefully it's starting to pay off for you guys.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys wanted to talk about? Like, what did you, I asked you that, then I'm going to ask you a different question is what is some of the best knowledge that you guys have gotten as coming up and becoming instructors and then giving it back? What is it that the message that you give back that hopefully not just the skill level, but the actual mindset of it? What is some positive reinforcement that you give to people that come through your program?
You want to start? Be humble, right? Eat a piece of humble pie. Eat the whole thing. I don't care. You want to, this job will humble you no matter what, right? None of us are perfect, right? We still all make mistakes. I have helmet camera of me stretching absolute dog shit of stretch during a Fulmer involved house fire. I learned from it, right? And that's, we're all students as well. There's another one is learn from everybody, learn from yourself, what you can and can't do, and then learn from everybody else around you.
Yeah, I would say too, be a student of the craft. Learn something new every day. And I know it's cliche, but every time you go to a fire, you got to act like it's your house, 100%. I mean, I kind of lived it. My house actually did catch on fire. I was the wife and I were in Nashville for our 20-year wedding anniversary. My daughter was home. She caught it, had an attic fire, so I watched my local fire department stretch in line on our Ring camera. So cut our trip short. Luckily, my fire chief now, lifelong friend. He was a BC at that time in my hometown department. Luckily, he was on duty that day. But treat it like it's like your house, your family that you're going to. But be a student of the craft, man. And like I said earlier, just because you're an instructor doesn't give you the right to stop training and stop learning and going to classes. I went to Pacific Northwest a couple years ago. Great conference, had a great time, learned a ton. So just never stop learning. Be better every day. That's all I can. Yeah, just be better every day, and be a better person.
I love it, man. What great messages. That's fantastic. Before we end it though, I'm curious because you guys you just dialed in, and I do love reading and I love new books out there. What is some material out there if anybody's interested, whether it's fire service or leadership related or instructor related, whatever you guys prefer? But is there anything that you suggest for anybody looking for new material?
I really like Chief Thompson's book, The Functional Fire Company. Great book. Chief Thompson's a heck of a dude.
Yeah.
And then Make Your Bed. Great book.
Make Your Bed. I haven't heard that one.
Make Your Bed.
Okay. What's that style? What kind of book is that?
Military-ish. So, but yeah, Functional Fire Company, great book. If you haven't picked it up, definitely pick it up. It's a good playbook too.
I love it.
Yeah, especially for anybody that's involved in training. It's a good playbook.
Okay, I like it very much.
Yeah. Nicholas Papa, the coordinated ventilation book is awesome. Also, Castro's Brush, Common Chaos. The command book is awesome. We just had a trainer in our area, and that book is, we have a whole PowerPoint and everything. That thing is killer. It was great. It helped me study for the CAPS test last year, and it was fantastic.
Awesome. I love that. I was actually talking to a couple of my officers a while back about some officer prep material that we need to update. And those were one of the, that book from Brian Brush. That was one of the books I was suggesting because it seems to be really more new than the data and the information that's come out with that book. And we should always be updating our material for our officers prep courses, or even non-officers, but we should always be looking at new material, new knowledge out there.
Well, we also did Blue Card too for the forever at our department. And now we're switching over to kind of how they do command in this book to kind of update our style and be a little bit more, aggressive toward everything.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man, that's great. I'll make sure I follow up with those books. Thank you so much, guys. This has been a great conversation. I'm so looking forward to meeting you, Jay, in October in Mississippi. Gino, are you going to be there? Are you going to be hanging out, or you got other stuff going on?
Him and Colin didn't invite me, but it's all good. But if you want to come out to Mayhem, I'll pay your way to come out. 100%.
Oh, brother, man, I appreciate you, man. That is fantastic.
March 2026.
Yep, 13th to the 15th.
I might have to take you up on them, and I really appreciate that. That's fantastic. You guys are fantastic, and I really appreciate our conversations. I really, honestly, have learned a lot, and I hope everyone who's listening or watching have learned a lot as well, tactic-wise, information-wise, just how to treat people and how to be an instructor, but also a student at the same time. Like you guys said, we're always a student of the craft. Whether you've been doing it for 30 years and you teach hundreds and hundreds of classes, there's always something to learn. And if you feel like you've already learned it all, then maybe you need to hang up the boots, because if you're not absorbing that material, you're no good to anybody. So guys, I love it. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. Ambassadors of the craft, Gino and Jay, you guys have been killing it. I hope you guys have fun at this conference you're at now, this training you're at now. It sounds like it's going to be a blast. It sounds like the students are going to be learning a lot of good information, getting some good reps in there. I wish I was there with you guys, but soon enough, I'll be over there and be able to shake your hands and give you a hug and be able to hang out and get sweaty.
Absolutely. Bring it.
Yeah, Mike, it was an honor and a pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, guys. Thank you very much for being with me this evening. I know you guys had a busy day, and taking the time out and talking with me means a lot. Anybody who's listening, please, you can follow Instagram on Ambassadors of the Craft. You can find Gino. You can find Jay. If you ever have any questions, reach out to them. That's what we're here for. So if you want information about training, or if you just have information or questions about tactic wise, again, exactly what we just spoke about, they're going to tell you what's up, and they're going to give you the great solid information. Not going to steer you wrong. The information's out there. We're not hoarding anything. It's given freely, because we want everyone to be better in the fire service. And Ambassadors of the Craft are doing just that. They're going around and delivering that solid good word and preaching the gospel to everybody. Again, thank you so much, guys. Thank you all for being on the C.A.N Report. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And I also like to end it as well. Is if anybody's ever struggling with mental health, you can reach out to Next Rung. I like to usually end that on that note. Is Next Rung is doing fantastic things. Blake Stennett, Charlie Brown. If you guys need help, they're going to find help for you. If you can't afford it, they have funds that they develop to help men and women get the help that they need. They can help arrange appointments for you. Or if you just need to talk to somebody, they're the place to go. They're on Instagram. They're like got a website, Facebook. And if you're not sure how to do it, you can reach out to me and I'll point you in the right direction. Because we need you guys around for a very, very long time. You matter to somebody. Again, thank you so much, Ambassadors of the Craft. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you do click subscribe and like. Let me know that you guys are appreciating the show. You all stay safe. I love you. Mazel tov.
Goodbye.
All right.